Hey guys, Scooty here, and today we're going to be talking about how the revolver stacks up to the L'Étranger, and how I think, and why I think the L'Étranger currently is a superior weapon. Let's dive straight into it. Okay, so, L'Étranger in hand, correct. Now, we're going to see how much damage this does, theoretically point blank, to, oh, hello, I don't want both of you. Okay, Scout, point blank, 48. Oh, 48, 47, 48. So it's about 48 a shot, right? On a 125 HP class. That's a crit. Notice how it's still 3 shots. Okay, that's another crit. This is about the range where... I missed all those. This is about the range, about this, where it does about 30, which requires 4 shots to hit. So, let's look at the revolver. Okay, so now we have the revolver. Take a look. And let's shoot this poor man in the face a few times. 1, 2, 3. Now, in most situations, you're not going to be that close to an enemy, but notice how the L'Étranger and the revolver can both theoretically 3-shot. The only difference is, the revolver is much more liable and reliable for 3-shotting. L'Étranger will usually take 4 to 5. I'd say in an average game, depending on your range. Not L'Étranger again. Revolver will take 3 to 4. So it's, on average, I'd say 1 extra bullet for L'Étranger to compensate to the stock revolver. So in terms of just damage, revolver is better. Alright, so far we've looked at the very, very close range damage, and then close to medium range. What about the longest? 21. Pretty average number. Okay, go to L'Étranger. 17. 4 damage is technically significant, but it's almost insignificant. Because the thing about a damage debuff based of percentage is the less damage you do anyways, the less damage is going to get taken off. Because there's only so much, you can take off. So if I do 60 damage, I can take off a lot more because 20%, 20% less equals 48. But if I do 21 damage... and I take off 20%, it's just going to be 17. You only lose literally a few damage points. So kind of in an ironic way, the further you are from an enemy, or the less damage you do with the L'Étranger, the less its damage downside is actually taken into account, essentially. Or the less it matters is, I guess, a better way to word it. So keep that in mind, because, yeah. Obviously, Revolver is still the king of close range. But the L'Étranger, I'd say, is kind of the prince, honestly. Because, I mean, you can still 3-shot point blank. On average, you're about 4-shotting stuff, unless one of your shots is very far away, but close to medium range. L'Étranger still works fine. Like I said, in most situations, it's 1 extra bullet. Unless you're close, then sometimes it won't be an extra bullet. Alright, so I'm going to be running out of cloak here. So, let's see how many shots it takes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shots about. We'll say about 5. 5 shots to refill the cloak. Fully. And if you notice, 4 to 5 shots, well, that kills an enemy. And if you also notice, I have a bunch of medics running around for this reason. Because 1, 2, 3, 4 shots kills a medic. So, basically half the game, including medic, which is arguably one of the most important picks, at least from, competitive standpoint, you 4-shot half the game. With something that has a huge downside of 20% less damage. So, here. Let me switch to the revolver, see how many shots it takes to kill a medic. 1, 2, 3. Still about 4 shots. Now, if you're a little closer, you could still 3-shot medic, sure. But at a not super close range, it's still going to take, 4 shots, arguably, to kill a medic. So... we'll say 3 to 4, mostly 4 for medic, but L'Étranger, it's pretty much always 4 to 5, but it's still the same thing. You can kill medics with basically the same amount of bullets. Sometimes 1 more bullet, sometimes not. So this huge 20% downside doesn't seem too bad. Obviously, it still needs to be a downside, or else L'Étranger would just be straight overpowered. But I just want to put it into perspective, the actual damage instead of just the statistics is, that's kind of what I'm trying to get at here. Alright, now moving away from the damage aspect, let's look at what the L'Étranger does better than the revolver. And that's literally everything but damage, because if you look at the default revolver, or anything skinned, there's no stats on it. There's no extra anythings. And we've already basically determined that the damage penalty really isn't as bad as it sounds. Like I said, it is necessary to keep it from being a straight upgrade or quote-unquote overpowered, but it's really not too bad. And if you look, there's also 2 extra little stats there, plus 40% cloak duration and plus 15% cloak on hit. Let's take a look at those, because that's obviously what makes this revolver good, because these stats make this revolver good, let me tell you. So, the Inviswatch, you get about 13 seconds of cloak. I know that from recent videos. Or not recent, but previous videos I've done about the topic of L'Étranger and cloak times. Cloak and Dagger, you get about 8.9 seconds, so essentially 9 seconds. So, it turns the Cloak and Dagger to have the same cloak duration as the Inviswatch. Except you also get the benefits of 100% plus cloak regen, and you get to stand still and be cloaked indefinitely for the same duration as the Inviswatch, or 0.1 of a second off, or whatever. You know, like, it's essentially negligible. That's what the L'Étranger does. Now, there's a recurring theme of why I think the L'Étranger is the best gun for Spy right now, and it's because it makes the other tools in the Spy's arsenal so much better. Like I said, perfect example is the Cloak and Dagger, but then you look at the Dead Ringer. Now, if you know, you probably do know, because you're watching a TF2 video, a few weeks after the jungle update, the Dead Ringer no longer gets ammo. You know, you can't pick up ammo off the ground or from packs that spawn to refill it. Therefore, if it's triggered, and you know, you're running around doing your little spy things with your borderline overpowered speed boost, and you declo, you're gonna have to sit here with your thumb up your ass because you picked up ammo but it didn't do anything. Unless you have the L'Étranger. Because you kill a man after maybe waiting a second or two to find somebody. You kill a man with this thing, your cloak will go almost to full, if not too full, immediately. Sure, the default revolver might have killed in one last shot, but you'll still be sitting there with almost an empty Dead Ringer, you know, basically being reduced to a revolver spy for the next 20 seconds or whatever the hell this thing's default charges. You know? So, for the trade-off of 1 extra shot, to be able to use my watch almost instantly, especially that watch being the Dead Ringer, I will take that every single time. I will take having to hit 1 extra shot to gain the Dead Ringer charge. And even if you only hit 3 shots, just like with the revolver, and you don't technically kill them, and for some reason you missed a few shots, or you weren't fully loaded, or whatever the bullshit excuse is, you still have a Dead Ringer, you can just run away and do it again. It doesn't matter, because the L'Étranger makes other spy weapons so much better. And if you've noticed, I also have the Eternal Reward in my loadout. That's because it makes this so much better as well. Because if you look at it, alright, let's take a look. Plus 33% cloak drain rate. Plus 40% cloak duration. So, if you haven't caught on already, its other stat, the cloak duration, also makes the knife better. Or not the knife, the Eternal Reward better, because it literally gets rid of its only downside besides its, you know, iconic disguising mechanics. So basically it goes to almost no downside because you can still disguise even without a stab now because of Jungle Inferno. If you see the recurring theme, like I keep saying over and over, the L'Étranger is good, very good, because it only takes on average about 1 extra shot to kill, and it makes all the other tools in the Spy's arsenal so much better, so much easier, and so much more entertaining, and so much more viable to play with. While the default revolver, again, offers you slightly better damage, yes, but that's all it does. There's multiple weapons in the Spy's arsenal I don't like using without the L'Étranger now. Pretty much all the 3 weapons I mentioned, because they just feel underwhelming without that little extra boost, but the L'Étranger makes those weapons perfectly viable. Alright, before I move into the actual, you know, real gameplay and not just shooting things walking in a straight line part of this video, I do want to address the topic of, I didn't bring up medium to far range with the L'Étranger, not because it's, oh, that's where it's weakest, you didn't bring that up so your argument looks stronger. No, I didn't bring that up because in my mind it's not even necessary to bring up. Because keep in mind, if you want max damage, use the revolver. But if you want good damage and better versatility, that's when I equipped the Latron J. Because, again, we're not using this for damage necessarily. I still prove that it's viable for damage, but that's not the main point. The main point is its other stats. You want to make these other weapons more viable, so therefore your focus is going to be on these weapons, not necessarily your gun. So why would you be shooting anybody long range? And I mean, if someone's low health, the Latron J still has that first perfectly accurate shot, same as Revolver. So if they're 20 something health, sure, the Revolver might have technically killed him in one hit across the map, but the Latron J can finish enemies across the map quite well. It, like I said, the further you are and the less damage it does, the less damage is taken off, because there's only so much you can take off. So yeah, just for the people that are, oh, the Revolver is totally better, you know, obviously you're entitled to your own opinion, and I'm sure there can be made, you know, some cases for the Revolver's good. But again, the Latron J really doesn't fall that behind in damage, and what it provides for that lack of damage is just so much better in my opinion. Alright, as you can see, that Latron J shot literally just saved my life. If I didn't have that Latron J shot for the cloak boost, I would have died there. Okay, let's say you're at their spawn. No knife, no cloak. Guess what? I have cloak again. I can escape now. I have much more confidence to just kind of run away. Sure, the Revolver might have killed in 2 shots there, but I mean, come on, all I have to do is hit the extra shot. Alright, so as you saw there, that soldier would have killed me there. I did not know he was there at all, I won't even lie. But since I hit that shot, I had my Dead Ringer just in time. That's what I'm talking about. Like, it makes things like that just so much swifter. And again, this is just the first game I've loaded up. I've already been getting all these examples. Alright, out of cloak, right? Look, a heavy that can do literally nothing. Oh no, guys, I'm dead. Like, in that situation, sure, I had to use the cloak to escape, but it lets me get even, you know, lets me get away. And again, it just proves to show you just kind of shoot some guy. He can't really do anything. I could have been walking away that entire time. I was just, honestly, just fucking around. Jesus Christ, this thing takes forever. It's barely at half. That's ridiculous. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I just shoot 2 people, boom! I have my cloak when I want it. I'm just picking off someone who can't even fire back. Like, that's literally like a perfect case example of just like, Jesus Christ, the Latron J makes this weapon viable. Oh look, the 20% damage penalty. Yeah, like I said, close to medium range, it really doesn't make too much of a difference. You're going to be killing stuff low health, still doing about 40 to 48 damage anyways, like. And that is the conclusion to my spy discussion. Now, in the background, just for the outro, you're going to notice some little posters. You know, it's just for fun, showing off little points. But, yeah, this is now the obligatory part of my video, where I beg everybody to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. If you agree, or maybe even if you don't agree, tell me why in the comments. And like I just said, make sure to subscribe. I will see you all later. Thank you, and peace.